clean machine design. My name is Greg Walker, and I'm a director at Spatial Integrated Systems, also known as SIS. We are one of the Siemens premier partners offering sales, services, and support for the complete line of CAD/CAM, CAE, and PLM products. We support all the industries, including industrial, food, processing equipment, and we're very excited today to spend some time focusing on this industry. Before I get going, I will open up for questions at the end of the webinar, but you can also ask questions as we go along. On the GoToMeeting toolbar, there is a question box, and feel free to ask questions as you go along, but we'll address them at the end. So let's get going. So why are we here today talking about industrial food processing equipment, which is also known as IFPE? It's because it's a really exciting time to be in the industry because of the projected growth. However, there are a lot of challenges that surround it that you have to be aware of. IFPE industry is estimated to be a $42 billion global market right now and is growing to $53 billion by 2016. The market is being driven by changes in food consumption, consumer awareness, and government relations. These specific trends are important to understand in order for you to be successful. So IFPE manufacturers face dramatic pressure to improve the speed and the efficiency of their product design and engineering so they can reduce delivery time and increase profit margins. As we'll see, some of the best companies in the IFPE industry are building new capabilities and leveraging technology to thrive in this competitive business environment. During this 30-minute or so webinar entitled Lean Clean Machine Design, we'll show you how. Again, I want to thank you for joining us today, so let's get started. So here's a quick look at the agenda for today's webinar. We'll start by briefly reviewing the recent industry trends, their implications, the unique challenges they place on companies and the product development organizations in the industry. Then we'll identify the key capabilities that the best food equipment companies exhibit, capabilities that help turn these challenges into opportunities, and that's what we're really trying to focus on, is how do we do that. This may be an opportunity for you to assess your organization's current strengths and weaknesses, and we'll give you an opportunity to do that during this webinar. We'll also provide you several success stories that illustrating how companies are using engineering software tools to enable these capabilities and to improve their business growth. So let's begin by looking at some of the consumer trends. These are the people that are actually using the results of what the machine companies are building. There is a changing consumer food habits and growing population demanding more processed food, and it's driving a higher demand for this equipment. Environmental concerns are also placing a greater focus on the packaging, recyclability, and energy usage. This increased awareness is driving food manufacturers and producers to pass these requirements to the suppliers. So the people that are making the equipment, so that ones that end up having to enforce these concerns. These trends require food equipment manufacturers to design customized machines faster. IFPE companies are now demanding a better way to provide visualization of these customized products for sales and marketing, along with estimated energy consumption before the equipment is even built. So there's a lot of pre-work that's going on before any activity is even considered to be manufactured or assembled. So what are some of the trends that are impacting your customers? These are the customers that are buying the machines and the products. They're facing pressures of lowering labor costs to reduce operating costs while simultaneously providing a safe and improved work environment for their employees. IFPE manufacturers must improve operating costs to stay competitive and improve the working environments to maintain compliance and reduce the risk of litigation and lost time accidents. Recently, there was a dialogue with a food producer who was investing in some new capital equipment, and the justification for the new equipment was reducing the number of operators from 4 to 2, so they were becoming more efficient. They were doubling the hourly throughput as well. These employees were not eliminated, but allowed them to expand with a second production line. So the takeaway here is, increased machinery efficiency actually led to an increased capital investment and growth. So it's not always more efficient machines reducing operators and employees. It actually gives you an opportunity for growth. Many of the major food manufacturers and producers have local labor laws established to protect environmental working conditions, but the major retailers have also implemented very stringent requirements. In some cases, the retailer requirements and audits are more difficult to maintain than the local law. That's a major problem. So these are major factors that IFPE manufacturers have to be aware of. So now that we've covered the trends of the industry, and let's look at the trends impacting the food manufacturers themselves. That would be you guys. Let's review how these trends are impacting your companies. The IFPE equipment manufacturers are facing cost pressures as well. Just as the food producers are facing, pressures are rising and unstable cost of raw materials and equipment manufacturers. So basically, with the rising raw material and that are being purchased, everything is on the rise. So obviously that impacts you. You have to get control of it. You have to make things right the first time. So, the accurate cost estimates you have to manage, and your expectations of your overall margin and profitability are key right here. Finally, government relations impact you guys as well. So add to that, with the rising consumer awareness and attitudes surrounding food safety, there's obviously increasing litigation risk as you move along as well. So there's a lot of challenges. IFPE companies need to apply strong corporate oversight within the design and manufacturing process to ensure the equipment delivers and meets or exceeds all the relevant industry standards on cleanliness, hygiene, and safety. Those are the three areas that are obviously important to mitigate all your litigation risk. No longer is it good enough just to produce average equipment. The game has changed, and the industry is demanding lean, clean machine design. So companies are looking for ways to design better. So what does that mean for you guys? I'd like to pause for a minute to really think about the previous slides. It's sort of a lot of the external things and trends that are impacting you guys in the IFPE market. So what's the most significant industry trend that impacts you specifically? Is it the consumer behavior that we were talking about, environmental awareness, the customer demands and labor costs, internal pressures, the rising costs of raw materials, the litigation risk? And I'm sure you have several others. The point here is that every company is different. You have a little bit of everything, but the key is to understanding what those drivers are and what are the most significant trends that are impacting your business so you can address them. And one of the things that we're here to show you today is how we can address that and integrate it into your culture of design and manufacture. These are the things that are going to make you more competitive and relevant to the industry. So I'd like to take a minute to look at one of our customers in Pennsylvania that not only faces these challenges, but continues to maximize its market opportunities. AMF Bakery Systems is one of the IFPE industry leaders. They've been a SIS and Siemens customer for many years with steady growth. AMF Bakery Systems is the world-leading manufacturer of high-speed baking equipment. They design and manufacture a complete line of automated baking equipment, from mixers, makeup equipment to slicers, baggers, post-processing solutions, as well as washing machines for bottle industry. The picture that you're seeing right here is their combination proofing and continuous oven system in action. This equipment is designed and manufactured to yield a high-volume, consistent bake process throughout up to 120,000 soft buns per hour. So it's pretty, it's pretty demanding, and it's very, very industry leading. So let's take a look at what AMF Bakery was challenged with. AMF designs and builds these customized solutions under contract to deliver by a certain date. So the product design is clearly on the critical path for the profitability. Specifically, AMF is faced with the following challenges. Customizations that increase engineering time and add cost. Every time you make your customization, you're adding engineering time, and you're adding cost to it. Your salespeople are promising delivery dates that can lead to costly overtime or unhappy customers if it's not met. So with customization and delivery dates, now you're adding a lot of variables that are going to impact your bottom line. On top of that, they found unstable material and energy costs, so their cost estimates can be inaccurate. Obviously, it affects the margin. The equipment accessibility for ease of cleaning to meet industry hygiene standards. So we talked about that point about cleanliness and all the regulations. So now not only do they have to have an efficient system, but it's got to meet industry hygiene standards. So that's a requirement on every piece of equipment that they send out. So you can see that this is not a primary requirement, but it's very costly on the back end with very unhappy customers, and they're most likely not going to buy again if they're continually having to clean, make it very difficult to clean their equipment. So to maintain their global leadership, they were committed to finding a way to turn these challenges really into opportunities. So AMF took a deep look at their design and engineering process and capabilities. They analyzed their strengths and weaknesses. So I'll actually get back to the case study shortly. I want to take a step back again and look at the entire design to manufacturing process for the IFPE industry. So to be competitive in the IFPE manufacturers like AMF, they must adopt effective and efficient order to manufacture and product development processes. This is not like just creating a piece part and shipping it out. They're very customized, they're very tailored, they're all different. They mix and match the components, and they have different workspaces that everything has to fit into. So in our work with manufacturers in the space like AMF, we've identified 12 key capability areas that drive success. And these 12 capabilities shown here are everything from marketing and selling the products, engineering them to order, planning, manufacturing, commissioning, and servicing them. As you look at the framework, what areas could your company improve in? You know, obviously this is a sort of a framework to look at, sort of a check sheet. You're going to look at some of these things and say you're really good at some of them, and other things you need to clean up and maybe aspire to a better level. So what we commonly see is many companies that are pretty good in these certain areas, but they want to improve the others, like I just mentioned. So AMF Bakery beginning looking at their current CAD system, which was 2D AutoCAD at the time. And for them, speed of mechanical design was the primary challenge. They knew in order to reduce the design errors, a 3D solution would be key to speed and profitability. An attempt to adopt actually they tried to adopt SolidWorks at the beginning, and it was very unsuccessful. They almost bagged the whole thing and went back to 2D. But then they decided to look at some other options, and we got involved. In particular, they were looking for a program that would be easy to use and also would allow them to gradually move into 3D. They realized they couldn't do this overnight. It was going to have to be something that they worked in this hybrid environment. Ideally, it would be an environment that would provide both 2D and 3D. So the flexibility to move slowly into this 3D was important because they had a great deal of the legacy AutoCAD data as well. Mechanical CAD is just one of the supporting engineering software tools that can be used to improve your capability to design better. This was the case for AMF. We realize every company is different, so that's why, again, I ask you to take a look at these 12 areas and see what areas you might look to improve in. For AMF, their case study, we surveyed the tools in the market, they surveyed the tools in the market, and again, we got involved and they selected Solid Edge. So for AMF, we were able to show them how Solid Edge was not just a great 3D CAD solution, but a complete 3D design and engineering package that brought their company new capabilities and technologies in areas like sheet metal guarding and housing, product visualization for sales and marketing, as well allowing us to align really their customer needs with their own engineering. As you can imagine, they got a lot more than they expected. Although the 12 capabilities are important to AMF, but we're going to dive a bit deeper into the 3 that are highlighted over here, especially that are important to the IFPE. We'll demonstrate why these are especially critical and talk about how to overcome challenges and get better in each area. The 3 areas that we're going to take a look at are reducing customized content, visualization of new products, and speed of mechanical design. So the first challenge we'll look at is reducing customized content. Sales and engineering staff need to optimize the product specifications to fulfill their customer needs while minimizing the need for customized product development. Everyone knows this is a balancing act, and the thing is, it greatly impacts the margin. The more customization you do, the harder it is to customize, the higher the cost goes. No customization, you're not going to have happy customers because they're getting a standard system when they're looking for a one-off specialized to meet their needs. So it's a constant balancing act. How many times have we been in that situation where we'd like to reuse existing equipment design, and the use of that model is a starting point for your new design? So you grab your old design and say, okay, this is where we're going to start. Well, traditional 3D modeling reuses the data. It could cause a lot of problems. Think about it. If you go in there to roll back some model parts or assemblies and make your modifications, and then you regenerate it through your modifications, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get unplanned errors because you're not sure how it was developed in the first time, or there's other constraints that were placed earlier on the tree. So in many cases, it's even more costly because you're starting all over. That's not what you want to do. In this case, data reuse must be a part of your design and your sales strategy as part of IFPE. So wouldn't it be nice to reuse your existing data regardless of who authored it, quite frankly, where it came from? And that's what Solid Edge offers. The manufacturers can increase their margin by minimizing customer-specific engineering. Data reuse and product configuration can be managed and customized throughout the sales cycle, providing the ideal balance. So now we have that balance. We have the data we can reuse. We can make the modifications and the customizations to show the customer, hey, this is what your system is going to look like. That's the customization the customer likes. It's the sales tool that their salespeople like, and it's the engineering capability that your engineers in design want, that they don't have to start from scratch. So you can select preferred configurations based on your experience and standards, but also have the tools to do your customization. Staying on track and always keeping your margins, in vision there, basically. What other benefits are you seeing here? Well, you can implement a step-by-step sales process with less need to input from your engineering team. So there's sort of a workflow, if you will, that's in place for your process. For new staff, Solid Edge is so easy to use without having to do the feature and using, I'll talk about synchronous technology in a little bit, and they require less training, so they can follow a simple and enabled sales process. The management of the product configuration gives them lots of options throughout the sales cycle. They're happy. The staff can now select preferred configurations based on their experience, so you can leverage that. So to wrap up the discussion on the data reuse, now I'm going to talk about the synchronous technology. Solid Edge with synchronous technology. Solid Edge allows the user to make precise changes to imported geometry by adding 3D driving dimensions to any geometry. So again, whatever format you're bringing it in, you have these driving dimensions available to you. Another unique capability within Solid Edge is the ability to make direct edits to the imported geometry, pushing, pulling, rotating geometry, adding features, basically with the capability called a steering wheel. The amazing capability will automatically recognize the key features and allowing powerful parametric type modifications to happen effortlessly. Another capability is the synchronous technology has something called live rules. Live rules finds and applies original design intent whenever you're working with your geometry. So it's doing it on the fly as opposed to you establishing it at the beginning and going through it at each step. So what does that mean to your company? It typically means lower overall design costs by having the ability to edit imported data and facilitate better reuse. You're really leveraging your data as time goes on. I always like to refer to this as, your system becomes more valuable by the more product and more projects that you do. Data reuse is key here. So what I'm going to do is show you a quick little demo of some of the synchronous technology in action.
How many times do you find yourself designing an off-the-shelf part when you have all the information in front of you, but do you know the information that you're building and you're designing in is a good design? Well, as we can see here inside of our binder, we have some gear data information. But you know something? I'm going to use a tool inside of Solid Edge called Engineering Reference. Engineering Reference offers us a wide variety of ready-to-build engineering components such as gears, pulleys, shafts, but it's all done from a parameter-driven interface. And you can see that the results that you put in are good or no good, and go right into it. Next, we want to be able to assemble those. And whenever you use an engineering reference, we automatically put those assembly constraints for gears, let's say, in there as a gear relationship. So now all I have to do is go through and add an actual motor to here, to my gears. Gear relationships are already there, but now I can go through and animate this to see, is my design going to work correctly? And it does. Another type of off-the-shelf part is a belt. We know that whenever you buy belts, you buy them in certain lengths. Well, inside of Solid Edge, what we can do is we can assign assembly parts to 2D sketches. Why is that? Well, basically we have a tool inside of Solid Edge called GoalSeek. GoalSeek is monitoring how long this belt is for us. So I can make sure that my design is going to fit the off-the-shelf part that we have in our department, or I need to call a supplier to get that. And so GoalSeek goes through, constantly monitors that type of information for us. So whenever I go through and I make a change to this, it will go through and actually find what that is. So if I go out and say, well, the supplier tells me that I can they only have a certain belt length, or out on the shop floor we have a certain belt length, it will go through and it will automatically adjust that part for you and give you the design tools that you need at your fingertips and be able to go through and get your design quickly. Another way of doing this is actually looking at supplier type parts. Inside of Solid Edge we have Cadenas. Cadenas is a part community. It's out on the website. You can search different things to find different parts, but you simply drag and drop those parts inside of Solid Edge and be able to control how their mates are retained, so you can quickly add as many as you need very quickly and very easily. So with standard parts, Engineering Reference, Cadenas, and GoalSeek, you can be assured that you're going to accelerate your design inside of Solid Edge.
Okay, so as you can see there with the improved design and the quick speed there, the better reuse, obviously we're talking about lowering costs and staying on top of that data reuse. So the second of the three capabilities we wanted to take a look at today was the need to visualize new products. So obviously on the build-to-order equipment, manufacturers want to improve the way they communicate a proposed machine before they manufacture and assemble. That's key to get the upfront concept in place. It makes you look professional. It gives you a lot of capability before you deliver your product. So it's also difficult to sell the physical machine when it doesn't exist and you don't have any pictures. You might be showing a drawing or something. Imagine looking at this kitchen item here, processing set, on a 2D drawing versus what you're seeing right there, a rendered thing. So to be competitive, your sales staff need to communicate this, their offer as a distinct, incorporating innovative features and the advanced technology. And the failure to truly convey this visualization can lead to costly design iterations, and even worse, losing a sale. So this capability sells, it sets expectations, it reduces costly modifications midstream. We all know when you make cost changes midstream, costs escalate. So to overcome these challenges, you need to provide fast, easy to create, plush 3D photorealistic images and animations. Solid Edge helps sales and marketing provide these rich 3D product information, which helps improve your sales. The sales staff may present AVI movies of Solid Edge machine motion, machine in operation, and exploded views, or interact with a virtual model on a smartphone or even a tablet. All those tools are available for you within Solid Edge. Solid Edge photorealistic rendering produces virtual product pictures and product walkthroughs. Your sales staff can show more product variants at marketing events to help you stand out from your competition. These virtual images allow you to test market new products and to create interest in new products and variants before they're even manufactured. So the message here is you want to be recognized as the standard by using leading technology as your competitive advantage. The third key capability that we'll discuss here in this market is to speed mechanical 3D design and 2D drawings. For many of our customers, creation of 3D model is great for new business, but many times the 2D drawings are still used to manufacture and inspect the equipment. It's very common out there. It's a common challenge for companies because they end up using disparate systems between 3D and 2D. And that's a real major problem, and that becomes a barrier for a lot of companies to even consider 3D, knowing that they're going to have to go to a new system that doesn't understand their 2D data. So with Solid Edge, it's not a problem. We have an integrated 3D to 2D system built in from the ground up to maximize its capability. This is not the case for other mainstream CAD programs, so you really have to look at that if you're dealing with a 2D environment as your baseline. We also recognize that most designers and engineers are under constant pressure to work faster and more efficiently. So with Solid Edge, designers and engineers have a complete system, 2D and 3D, to help them design better. And also the capability to bring 2D and convert to 3D. That whole process is built into Solid Edge. So to overcome these challenges, Solid Edge provides a complete integrated software package, like we talked about, to make the design process faster and more efficient. Engineers can produce 3D models, accurate 2D working drawings, and can reduce time eliminating design errors before manufacturing and assembly. Solid Edge helps your engineers by speeding up design, executing faster revisions, and better reuse of what they and others have done before. Okay? These become smarter over time because you're allowed to reuse data. This means you deliver sooner, you invoice earlier, you lower your business risk, and more opportunity to grow revenue at a higher margin, which is what we all want. Let's look a little closer at how Solid Edge can help your company gain this competitive edge from accelerated design. So I know almost every 3D CAD company can make this claim, but I'm trying to tell you that Solid Edge makes it a little bit more unique. It really, truly is accelerated design. What makes this unique is a disruptive technology called synchronous technology. Synchronous technology is a patented technology available to only Siemens PLM software, which is part of Solid Edge. This innovation has dramatically changed the game in product development because no pre-planning is required. Since no pre-planning is required with Solid Edge, the end user can design in a history-free environment and accelerate the design process. The user does this by focusing on design intent versus the design tool. How much time is wasted on learning how to use the product and what steps you have to do in order to get your thoughts, on this 3D canvas. Well, that's not what happens with synchronous technology. We give you an environment that you can quickly adapt your 3D thoughts, the way your mind really works, into what I call this 3D canvas. So your full digital prototyping can be achieved inside of Solid Edge. It does this by leveraging a hybrid 2D and 3D design environment. And unlike the other 3D CAD systems, Solid Edge offers a common user experience for both 2D and 3D users. We offer this because Solid Edge was developed from inception to be an integrated 2D and 3D design tool, not one or the other and then crammed together. This was designed purposely to be designed together. So additionally, Solid Edge gives the user the freedom to redesign on the fly and respond to customers' demands with lightning fast speed and agility. I talked about this history tree, not having to rebuild your design. With synchronous technology, you don't have to do that. You really can make your changes on the screen at the time and see instant results, which is what we all want. So this gives the designer a more productive user experience. What can accelerated design mean for your company? Gets products to the market faster, up to 25% ahead of your competition. So winning new business and making profit on projects can really live and die within the ability to respond quickly and efficiently to your customers and their demands. So Solid Edge with synchronous technology has a unique capability to allow designers and engineers to make flexible changes to these models and drawings in this constraint-free environment, regardless of the authoring source. So bring your data in from whatever CAD system, doesn't matter. Solid Edge does this by automatically integrating the engineering model and presenting the user with possible design functions seamlessly at their fingertips with a tool called Live Rules. It's like having an experienced co-pilot when you drive. It's understanding your geometry as it opens the model, so it knows it ahead of time instead of you teaching it one step at a time. So not only that, but the models don't need to be regenerated. And what does that mean? Again, for your design and engineering, blazing fast performance. Solid Edge allows you to make design revisions in minutes instead of hours. And the ones that took you minutes, you're now doing in seconds. So this really does mean delivering your product sooner, invoicing early, lowering your business risk, and more opportunity to grow your revenue at higher margins, of course, with happy customers. So let's get back to this 12 key capability that drives success in this industry. Thinking about your own business, what are your most challenging areas and where do you need to improve the most? Now, let's take a look at a few of these things. So, is it managing your customer requirements, developing, the speed, managing your projects? I can go on and on through these things. You can take a quick look. I'm sure one or more of these things are on your list. Solid Edge addresses all of these in one comprehensive package that's easy to use. So I broke away from AMF earlier on. Let's get back to it and sort of wrap that story up and really figure out how they achieve this lean, clean machine design. And really their results are somewhat compelling because the numbers are pretty staggering. If this was your business and you saw those numbers, I think you'd be knocking on my door looking to figure out how you can get this software implemented as fast as possible. So the design phase was reduced. They saw a reduction by 50%. Huge, 50%. Solid Edge greatly reduced the amount of the rework. Assembly time had been reduced 15 to 20%. That's on top of the 50%. So as you can see from concept to delivery, they're making huge gains by just getting Solid Edge incorporated into their design and engineering process. Rework on the complex sheet metal assembly had almost completely eliminated. They were getting it right the first time. Holes were lining up, things were connecting properly, all of that because they were doing basically their prototyping digitally or virtually inside of Solid Edge. Okay? Less overtime, more profit. And their list truly goes on. These guys are a poster child of success in this industry using Solid Edge. AMF chose Solid Edge as an upgrade over 2D AutoCAD when they transitioned into this 3D. I told you a little bit about the story. And today all the new machines are designed in Solid Edge using the hybrid approach. So they still incorporate some of their legacy 2D data and bill of material, whichever is applicable that they have, and they incorporate new 3D with it. So they're using 2D and 3D together. The thing they loved about Solid Edge is SIS went in there and after a 5-day training program, each one of their designers or engineers were able to use the software and were up to speed on and proficient in doing their day-to-day work. Now, of course, they got smarter and wiser over time, but it didn't take months or weeks to get them up and running. Literally 1 week and they're up and running with the software. And they feel like they really took ownership of the software because they're finding new ways of doing things because of the capability with the synchronous technology every day. Again, they're just a great example of how Solid Edge helps IFPE manufacturers design better. And that's what we're really talking about today. I'll talk you one other success story, just one page on this. And this is the Woodstone Corporation. It's North America's leading manufacturer of stone hearth cooking equipment. The cornerstone of the company's product line is the wood-fired restaurant oven. This product's adopted by most of the country's hottest chefs. including Wolfgang Puck. I think my best friend has one of these in his house. He shows it off. Anyway, for many years, engineers at Woodstone created 2D drawings of the wood components using AutoCAD. They sent the drawings to suppliers who fabricated the parts which were brought back to Woodstone and assembled. Obviously, there's several drawbacks. Some we mentioned, that AMF encountered. There were a lot of assembly issues. Things weren't lining up. It was very difficult to envision how all the parts were going to fit together in this 2D world. So there was a lot of errors. The fastener holes weren't lining up, multiple sheet metals. They were having assembly problems. They were causing delays while the new parts were being made and added to the development costs. So one cost after another kept stacking up. Another drawback was how difficult it was to document the sheet metal precisely. So finally, uses for 2D drawings were limited, basically. They were attractive enough for the company's website, and many customers couldn't understand the drawings enough to rely on them during installation. So very little use on the engineering data, whereas we're talking about in the 3D world with Solid Edge, not only do you get it done faster, but you have a lot of uses for your 3D in the sales and marketing and in the production side. So the design productivity increased by 50%. A faster design cycle helped Woodstone win customer orders, and significant time and cost savings through reduced assembly glitches, all helping the bottom line. Obviously, it was a big win for them. So when you look at all of the companies we're already helping within the industry, it's pretty significant. Really, their design times are being cut by 50%. Their physical prototypes are being replaced by virtual prototypes. And even, like I said, on the early end, because they're able to show previous models or even mock up some new models. Capacity for new product development is increased by 30% because they're not utilizing all their capacity to do the initial product development. They're able to increase their capacity, right? So they're able to sell more. Their manufacturing time is cut by 20%. Their costs are reduced by 20%. These are significant metrics that have been gathered by our current customers in this industry. So today you've heard Solid Edge mentioned throughout the session, but we've not yet formally, I guess, introduced it. So I would like to wrap it up a little bit with a brief overview of Solid Edge. So it really is a complete 3D design and engineering solution that addresses all 12 key capabilities for the IFPE industry. Solid Edge for 3D part and assembly design uses synchronous technology. It actually uses a hybrid mode. You can actually work in the traditional mode as well. So people that don't want to adopt this time-saving synchronous technology can work in sort of traditional parametric step-by-step process. But anyway, it does, synchronous technology accelerates your equipment design, speeds revisions, improves the reuse of previous designs. Solid Edge simulation for digital validation, Solid Edge simulation gives digital validation of critical components and reduces need to create physical prototypes, lowers the material testing costs, and improves reliability. This is critical when you're dealing with heat, when you're dealing with flow, when you're dealing with vibration, all the types of analysis and simulation that you want to look at before you manufacture your final product. Solid Edge manufacturing is a definition for accurate machining, fabrication, and assembly process, which improves your overall manufacturing efficiency. All your design data flows through to manufacturing and assembly. That's another key benefit of all this. And then Solid Edge design management. Okay, Solid Edge provides a management environment to basically improve your overall efficiency of your equipment design, to ensure that you have accurate product data, specifications, and requirement documents are available to all throughout the entire process. And Solid Edge is really a growing ecosystem. So we talked about sort of the app market, but sort of the pads and the portability of the data, but I'm talking about the apps of add-ons to Solid Edge that are really extending the capabilities to provide a complete ecosystem for product development and manufacturing that meets the needs of really anything you can think of in the IFPE manufacturing organizations. There is a vast array of applications, from process plant to design, tools and utilities, rapid, high-quality product development. The Solid Edge ecosystem includes, really the best-of-breed solutions. Providers like Keyshot for photorealistic rendering, Cortona 3D for product authoring, and CamWorks manufacturing. So I really do encourage you guys to take the next step, and don't just take our word for it. We have a program in place to test drive Solid Edge for free for 40 days. It's a full-blown version of Solid Edge. And you have no obligation. So you have 45 days, you download it, install it, you have 45 days to use it. And you can discover yourself how Solid Edge provides the speed and simplicity of this direct modeling and the flexibility of control and parametric design, all in one package. Okay? You can look at the 2D aspect of it as well. So if you want to do that, I encourage you to go to our website at www.sisinc.org. And under our promotions area, we have an area called Solid Edge 45-day trial. Just click on that, fill it out, and the information will be sent to you. Also, SIS will support you during your trial. So if you have questions, once you download it, we'll give you the opportunity. If you want to be left alone, you can be left alone. But we encourage you to take advantage of our technical resources to make the best of this evaluation, so it doesn't waste your time. Okay. Also, I encourage you to contact us to get a free assessment. Let's walk through your framework together, your 12 steps there, and see where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, and see if we can pinpoint specific ways that we can improve. There are a lot of areas that we can bring to the table, a lot of experience that we might be able to help you improve your bottom line to make you more efficient, give you more capacity, and to really focus on your bottom line. And that's what we'd really like to talk about. Again, you can go to our website and contact us through there, or you can send us an email through sales@sisinc.org. There's also a phone number there. You probably wrote it down. It's got on the screen for about a minute. 757-461-5206, extension 104. So now I just want to open it up to see if there's any questions as we wrap this up. I certainly appreciate everyone's time here, but I do want to make sure if you guys have any questions, we can address them. And if while you're thinking of some of the questions, one of the questions that typically comes up is this 2D. Companies that might have 2D data and they're looking at how they're getting to the 3D, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. Solid Edge has this ability and actually a workflow capability within Solid Edge to convert 2D data to 3D. So it sort of walks you through the process of getting your digital AutoCAD drawing in and bringing the views together, leveraging synchronous technology to pull and to certain key points and to redimension basically in your 3D environment. It's a very, very easy to use process to bring your 2D in and to convert to 3D when you need to. So not only do you have the hybrid system where you can utilize both, but it also allows you to take advantage to some of your 3D data. Well, I guess that's it. I don't see that we have any other questions. So I will wrap it up again. On behalf of our entire team at Spatial Integrated Systems, I'd like to thank you for attending. I know your time is valuable. If you do have any additional questions, want to take a deeper look at Solid Edge, feel free to call me directly or contact the information I gave you before. And again, I strongly encourage you to try Solid Edge for free. We'll be happy to assist you along the way. So thanks again. We hope to hear from you, and this concludes our webinar.